Now
Yeah.
I know this is not the Frank show. So Greg, so I know. Hey guys, we have a new sponsor for the show, and it is Hero Barbell. Their legendary barbells are the go-to barbell in the functional fitness community. And they also have on their team Colton Mertens as well as Andrea Nisler. I'm telling you guys, these barbells are by none the best barbells you can get your hands on. The spin is nice, the metal's well crafted, the knurlings are really good too as well. So why be ordinary? Get yourself a Hero barbell and join the Hero Nation. And also, they gave me a promo code too as well to save 10% off your purchase. So type in Type1 and save some coin. Now to the show. All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of the Type1 Lifting Podcast. I'm your host, Thomas Lennon, and I have two great guys. I've been talking to one of them for close to a little over a year, roughly.
Yeah.
It's Frank and Greg from Hero Barbell. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Great, man.
Absolutely.
So, Greg, did Frank tell you like how we kind of knew met each other?
No, he did not. He let me know that you guys had known each other for a while. Obviously, we were talking a little bit before we went online, and clearly understand the podcast and being very close to Frank and his family and Charlie. I can kind of probably put the pieces together, but I'd love to hear the story.
Yeah. So Kelly Wild, one of your athletes,
Yeah,
was wearing my Type1 lifting crop top, like tie-dyed shirt that I gave her, and she had a Hero barbell on there. And Frank tagged me in the post, and I'm like, who's this Hero? What's this Hero? What's Hero barbell?
Who's this guy?
yeah.
I'm like, I know Kelly because like she's been on my podcast like 3 times, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And so I kind of looked into it, and then I was reached out to Frank to kind of see if I could help out, or if there anything like we can kind of do something mutual at the time. And I know you guys just like first started, so you guys weren't ready for that yet. But and then
Yep.
Frank told me about his daughter being a type 1 diabetic too.
It was, dude, it was like, it was crazy, and I loved it too at the time, like as we were first started up, and Tony brought Kelly on board, and and then I found out she was type 1. I was like, oh my gosh, man, this is like a match made in heaven. I think like Charlie had just been diagnosed less than like a year and a half ago. And just like kind of giving her some inspiration and stuff. And obviously Kelly's that inspirational athlete that has like literally done it all. And like put her arm around her, and I was like, look at this beast right here.
Mm-hmm.
If she can do it and accomplish everything that she has accomplished, like the sky's the limit, girl. I mean, get after it. So, and it just opened, it seriously was super cool how much and how close the type 1 community is.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things that, we just had no clue until we actually, had a daughter that was type 1. And just learning and meeting new people and learning new things, and honestly learning about the disease too, because to be honest with you, Thomas, I was like, well, dude, we don't have diabetes in our family. How the heck, how the heck did she get it? Like that's impossible. This got to be a misdiagnosis. So it was just kind of like an educational kind of just rest and refit for me as well, and it was super cool. And obviously we got to run into each other via social, and now here we are chatting, and you got your badass bar in the background, and it's legit, man.
The best bar in the world. So I my gym, when they were looking for new barbells, I was like, well, I have these guys that have a barbell company that their barbells are legit, and so they brought 2 of them on, and I literally have to like take one of them and like put them in a corner just to hide it, so like no one else could do it, because they're mainly like we have like a lot of power lifters in our gym, and and teenagers that don't really know how to lift well, and so like I'm there at like 4:30 in the morning, like ripping weights around, and so like I try to hide it in the corner so like no one else sees it, and then there's the other ones like left over for my gym partner, and for everyone else. And so it's funny. And like occasionally, sometimes I'll see the barbell like out in the open, and I'm like, who the hell found that? Who found
What's
that?
this doing here? Yeah, what's
Yeah.
this doing here?
This is not belong. This is mine. So, but
Well, now you got your own though, you know, like you're good.
yeah, I'm only using this for a prop for the podcast once in a while, but I am using it too. So, but I love it. Yeah, but I do want to get back to the diabetes diagnosis. So when she got diagnosed, like, but before that, like, what was her symptoms that she was dealing with?
Oh, dude. So I mean, you know, and credit, and since we're live, obviously I can prove.
No, we're just recording, not live. Not yet.
Once and for all, that my mother-in-law was right. My mother-in-law called it, and she had extreme weight loss. She had lost over 10% of her body weight.
Dang.
And at its worst point, she was probably, you know, she was having accidents at night and going to the bath. And I could say that because she was 8. You know, she'd probably be embarrassed about it, but whatever, right? But she was having accidents at night. She couldn't make it through the night without peeing the bed, and she couldn't make it 25 minutes in a car ride without having to go to the bathroom. And so Jamie was pregnant with our 4th at the time. I still don't know how that works, you know, like just having kids and all the things. So we just kept having more. So I thought it was a cry for attention, and I kind of wrote it off as a cry for attention. I was like, she was the oldest. I was the oldest. I always wanted attention, like, over my siblings. So that's what it has to be. And, you know, Jamie's mom, my wife's mom, Peggy, she said, no, I think it's type 1. I think we need to go in and get her tested. And I was like, I was so opposed to it. I honestly, I almost killed her. So it was to the point where Margot was born. Our 4th was born September 14th. We got out of the hospital on a Monday, went into the pediatrician on a Tuesday, and I'm driving her to the emergency room. So Jamie's like at home recovering with a newborn, and I'm in the PICU with like a type 1 diabetic, and all of our kids are 8 years old or under, and we're just like, oh God, you know, it was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And I mean, I can laugh about it now, you know. I was like in tears at the hospital, but like, I mean, holy crap, man. It was like a gut punch. Like, here's a 4th kid that you weren't planning at all. And here's a, you know, autoimmune disorder that you got to work with as well. But just like you said earlier, I mean, I know the story, you know, it wasn't being recorded at the time, but like, man, the coolest thing that the PICU doctor, the attending physician, did was just kind of pull me aside and was like, one, you guys are awesome and you caught it early. I was like, caught it early? She's like, you know, she's DKA, like, like bigger than shit. But she was being nice, you know. She's like, caught it early. She's fine. She's going to be fine. And the best thing that you could do for yourselves is not figure out how she got it, because it's something you'll never know. You'll never know. It's an autoimmune disorder. There's certain triggers, and just like you'll tear yourself up trying to figure out, you know, how she got it. So like, just do your thing, learn about the disease. She can do anything and everything everybody else can do. And I mean, Greg knows that. She's, you know, she plays volleyball with Greg's daughter. She plays softball with Greg's daughter. I mean, you know, the girl's just, dude, I watched her do 16 pull-ups last night in my garage.
Nice.
Like, no, she's 13. Like, I can't do 16 pull-ups right now. That's also not true, but whatever. Making her feel better. But no, I mean, like, she amazes me every day. And, you know, it was really cool that the PICU physician, you know, told me what she did, and just kind of put me at ease, just like you put that family at ease as well. So that was pretty sweet.
How funny is it that you get more information from people outside your endocrinologist?
Right? It's insane. I mean, we're looping now. So like, we're part of the Facebook group Looped. And I mean, learned about the whole loop process and pitched it to our endocrinologist, and she was like, "Oh, well, I can't really endorse it because it's not FDA approved, but I mean, it's like, dude, it's the best thing that's ever happened to us."
Yeah.
So it's just super peace of mind. And the amazing thing about that app is that it was made by the diabetic community for the diabetic community. And what's the hashtag? I think the hashtag is "we're not waiting" or something like that. It's like, that's the whole, like, we're not going to deal with the bureaucratic bullshit that the FDA is
Yeah.
a part of. And, we're going to design an app for ourselves to take care of ourselves better than the FDA can regulate. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Now
Yeah.
I know this is not the Frank show. So Greg, so I know, so how like on an outside
Nice.
perspective of diabetes, so like, I know his daughter comes to your house to hang out and stuff like that. So what has been your experience with like diabetes?
Well, first of all, I mean, Frank and our other third co-founder, Mike, all met through kid sports. So our daughters, we all have three daughters, our oldest, that are, athletes and have been competing together and playing on the same teams forever and ever. So I actually remember very vividly when this was happening. I believe they were playing on a soccer team together. So I remember being on the sidelines, and, we hadn't quite become like good close friends yet, but we were friends and we would talk. And I mean, I can remember Jamie, his wife, on the sideline, like crying, like, I mean, losing her shit a little bit. Like, I'm pregnant, I'm about to have a baby. Like, Charlie's, been diagnosed with diabetes, and like, what are we gonna do? And it's funny. I remember very specifically somebody said something to Jamie to the extent of like, you know what? If there's any kid here that's built to be able to like deal with this, it's Charlie. Yeah. And the first thing I'll say is just his daughter Charlie, whose nickname is Charlie Hustle, is like, I mean, this girl, I've coached her before, and she's obviously been friends in our house. Like, this kid is like built to run through walls. She is just tenacious, fearless, like just such an awesome kid that I've truly grown to just love as a person. So it is cool to see how she's taken this and she's handled it. From my perspective, man, I was just totally ignorant, and I've learned a lot through this. Just being friends with the family, and one thing in particular, just to kind of give some perspective on the seriousness of it. Yeah, she spent the night at her house. Yes, we've gotten phone calls in the middle of the night because readings are off and we had to give her juice or whatever it was. But, about a year ago, me and Frank went on a little family vacation up in the mountains.
Oh, good, dude. Good story. Good pull.
I think what do they call it? Like Snowmageddon or something like that. It was like the biggest snowstorm to hit California mountains in something like 60 years. So me and this guy are up in a cabin in the middle of the mountains, and we get legitimately snowed in. Like, I mean, it's crazy. It's something like 9 feet of snow that came in over a 2-day period. And we're off some windy road, and there's no way to get in or out. Like, there is no driving. And we're sitting up there, and he's got enough insulin to last him like another like 3 days. And it's like, what are we going to do? So, you start to like really understand the severity of it, and the things that you kind of got to deal with, just the real life aspects of this. And Frank's wife, Jamie, is just unbelievable. Talk about, being able to tap into the network. I mean, she was on Facebook groups. And,
of course. Yeah.
I mean, she was moving mountains to make things happen. But yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time with Frank, and I remember I asked him probably about 150 questions about it, and just really understanding the ins and outs and everything about it and how it works. So it's been really eye-opening to me, but I also think just personally, like, super inspiring to see what they as a family have been able to do with it, and then just how Charlie just lives her life. Like, it does not slow that kid down at all.
That's awesome. Yeah. Now was this the Snowmageddon? Was this like the hot tub time where you guys built this Hero Barbell company?
Different hot tub.
Okay.
Different hot tub.
But there was a hot tub.
There was a hot tub.
So like, what was going through you guys' head like throughout the whole? Because I was listening to the Wex Appeal podcast about the hot tub story. So what was going? Obviously, there's probably liquor involved too as well. So was there, like, what was going through your guys' head of like, out of all of the equipment in the function in the fitness space, why did you guys decide to pick barbells?
Dude,
I
I was
well,
just we're frustrated.
I'll
Good.
yeah, I'll just give
Keep
this
going.
this. You said something and it like totally rang a bell because I'm like, that's you got it, like you nailed it. You talked about how like you have your barbell that you like hide in the corner, right? And like,
Yeah.
uh, we were. I was a pretty avid CrossFitter, and our other co-founder, we all went to the same box together and worked out. And there was like this like $900 Alikio barbell that was there. And it was the owner's bar, but like he was cool with me, so he would let me use it. So I got really used to using this barbell for like all my workouts, all my Olympic movements, all my WODs, and like kind of got a little bit spoiled, right? It was like the one, like it wasn't really mine, but it was like mine kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit and everything got shut down, and we're like, dude, how are we gonna work out? How are we gonna do our thing? And it came to like buying a new barbell. Like I didn't own my own barbell. I just was like I'm not going to spend $900 on a barbell. It seems ridiculous. But the $300 bars were just like not what I wanted. I was like kind of spoiled,
Yeah.
and it like sort of like just spiraled to like, why don't we fix this problem? And probably we talk a little about the Dollar Shave Club. There was a little bit of that early on with just like this idea of, you know, uh, you don't need the $9 razor that Gillette sold, right? You can get a razor just as good as a $9 razor and get it for a couple bucks or whatever it was. And then it was honestly a dumb idea, dude. It was a dumb idea. I probably come up with 20 stupid ideas like that a year. It did involve alcohol. It did involve jacuzzi and one thing or another, man. I think Frank, being a fighter pilot and just being like a total daredevil at heart, also
Yeah,
probably thinking about what he was going to do after he retired from the Marines, was like, yeah, man,
screw
let's do
it.
it. Let's go.
Yeah,
Sounds
barbell
great.
business. That sounds great.
Yeah.
No, obviously no logistics background whatsoever, and I have no idea how much it costs to ship any of this stuff. Oh my gosh, man. I swear, the next company we're doing, it's going to be like coasters or something like,
Pillows.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pillows. Yeah,
Koozies,
pillows is going to
koozies,
sound
easy.
good.
Koozies are easy. Now with that illegal barbell that you're using, so at the gym, so was there like a statue with the hands up here and holding the bar on the hands because it was so
Yes.
expensive?
Pretty much, man. That was
Right?
exactly what it was.
Dude, he hit the nail on the head. Like seriously, though, every like the barbell brings the gym together. It's like the Lebowski and the rug. Like that's it. Oh, dude, it brings a room together. Like it is the centerpiece of the gym. So why wouldn't it be badass and something that you actually want to have and you like look forward to, right? Like Greg looked forward to going and getting to the gym early so he could like scope out that bar. That's exactly what I want. Well, why don't, well, we could design that. Oh, we can? Yeah, sure we can. Yeah, yeah, we can. Like, and dude, he pitched that to us, and I mean, I told Greg that like I'm the salesman of the company, I could sell Eskimos ice, but like he sold me that night. He sold me real well.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. So how much of a learning curve did you guys have to go through just to understand, like, okay, you need, ball bearings, the spin, even like little pieces of like
Yeah,
to hold the the piece, hold the barbell in
snap
place and
ring,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, the
snap
snap ring and
rings.
stuff like that.
Yep.
Like how long did that take you to understand all that before you were like, okay, I believe that we are kind of now we're experts at this.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah. It, it's interesting. Like, I there's a lot of thought and a lot of care, and we designed that barbell exactly how we wanted that barbell to be, from the coating, using Cerakote coating, to the width, diameter of the bar, to how many bearings we wanted in it, to the design, to the knurling, to the um, but let's be honest, like, we're not designing electric vehicles or rocket ships here. I mean, there's so many components to a barbell. I'd be lying if I didn't say that I started off by probably looking at the anatomy of that, $1,000 Alikio bar that I really liked, and kind of what were some of the components. And it helped me start to understand how barbells are put together and what components made up to them and what I liked and what I didn't like and what I wanted. Everything about this company from day one and to this day has always been like a for us by us. It's just been like,
Yeah.
let's design cool stuff that we like, and if we like it, there's a good chance other people will like it. Let's name it things that we think are cool. Let's let's design different color. Like everything has been just who we are, and it's been authentic to us. And I think that's how the barbell kind of came about. It was what would I want in the perfect barbell? And yeah, okay, I'll start with this. This is kind of my starting point, but it would also be pretty cool if we did it this way. And then one thing and another, you find manufacturers and you work with them and you start developing prototypes. And we got prototypes showing up and meeting our specs and testing them out, and we finally kind of landed on a design that we really liked, and we were ready. We're in business.
Awesome.
I
So
think
go ahead.
no, I wanted to add to that was like, I think the best part about that whole process was the day. Do you remember, Greg? Like the day the first one showed, or I guess we had three or something. The
Yes.
first three showed up at your house, and like they had like an actual logo on it, an old logo, but like our original logo, but
Yeah.
and it was like, dude, we made that. Not really,
Yeah.
we designed that. Like
Yeah.
our hands weren't involved in the process, but like that's our barbell. Like I don't know. I thought it super cool. Like I felt a really, really awesome sense of ownership once those things started showing up. It was nice.
Awesome. So with the
Yeah.
samples that you were getting, so when you were like picking out the knurlings or whatnot, do they like just cut out a section and then did the knurlings and sent it over to you? Because obviously, sending a whole barbell is pretty damn expensive, like shipping costs. So how did like from like the drawing of what you're looking for to the feel, the knurlings or whatnot in the spin? So how did that kind of
No,
work your way up?
we totally screwed that up, dude. We got we got one bar, and one bar with a kind of a light mountain, a mountain knurl, like a lighter knurl. We had one bar with a medium volcano, and then we had one bar that had a sharp diamond, or I can't remember which one was which, but like we had one of each sent out to us. We didn't even think to actually be like, hey, can we just get like the light medium on one side and and the sharp on the other, or aggressive, I guess is the term the industry uses, right? But yeah, I mean, like you kind of talk about that, and it segues into it. Like mistakes, I mean, dude, we make plenty of them. But I would like to be, kind of optimistic to where like, hey, look, if we did make a mistake, we're not gonna make it again, right? Like we're gonna learn from the mistakes, and ultimately, like it's gonna make the company better because we're like, oh no, hey, well, let's not go down that road. We did that last time, and this was the outcome. So let's kind of try a different approach to it. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely ordered just as many bars as possible.
So did you guys talk to any other like barbell companies at all to kind of get a gist of like, maybe get a little bit of help or some like kind of guidance at all?
um,
No, that'd be
yeah,
way
we
too
didn't talk.
logical.
Right. Yeah. Why would we do that? No, I'm kidding. Like that's again another great idea. We didn't though. What we did was we did a lot of research. Tons of webs. Like just tons of web surfing. Um, going through Jake's Garage Gym reviews of like different barbells that he took a look at, and um, uh, just looking, surfing website after website of what people wanted to see in barbells, and then really what was like actually on the market at the time, like different colors, etc., because that obviously is going to drive sales, right? And then we kind of started getting our hands dirty and going to work.
Nice.
I
Nice.
you know I
Yeah.
have a little bit of a digital background. so I was somewhat naive with the idea of like, look, we can manufacture these things. You know, I can spin up a Shopify store. Like we can start selling these things, and you know, like I know how to do Facebook ads. Like I can, you know, that type of thing. So I think we had a little bit of this like naive approach of like what this thing was going to be. It was just going to
Yeah.
be some direct to consumer barbell type of thing, and the company has evolved so much from that. And quite honestly, I think I was really, really off on what I thought we were going to be. And, you know, a lot of credit to Frank and Tony, who came on as one of our partners. And, you know, just you know, bringing on real athletes. And, you know, the turning point, you know, in a lot of ways was like when Andrea Nisler came on board and we built a signature bar for her. And then she goes on and wins, you know, the CrossFit game, you know, team competition 2 years in a row on Mayhem with, you know, Frony and all those guys. And then all of a sudden we started to get some real like, you know, cred in the space and had like real athletes coming out to us and working out with us. And it became popular. You know, and I think we built a great bar. I really do. I believe
Hmm.
our bar, you put our bar up against about any bar out there. It's a great bar to use. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But I think what's really helped this company grow is sort of the authenticity of the brand that has developed over time, where people just like resonated. They resonate with, you know, what we believe in, who we are, how we position ourselves in the market, how we approach things. And, you know, and I think that's the part that I didn't necessarily think was going to happen when we started this thing. I thought it was like a direct to consumer business. We'll create a product, better mousetrap. We'll use digital channels to sell it. I didn't expect that we would have like legit competitions where people wanted to like, you know, use our bar. We're sponsoring events and athletes and those types of things. So that's been fantastic. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like kind of like a David and Goliath feel. So you
Yeah.
kind of want to root for like the little guy and support the little guys because, you know, if you support them, then they'll grow and it'll help the community out better. And then they kind of like go to like another avenue of the fitness space, like
Yep.
powerlifting or like anything
Yeah.
else or your average gym goer. So it's kind of like,
Yep.
I think it's kind of like that.
I mean, why not, right? Like everybody, I've read this somewhere before, but everybody loves an underdog story.
Good book, by the way.
They,
Love that book.
yeah, that like every seriously, tale is old as time, and hey, like ultimately, we're we're four, we're a couple of dudes that just want to make the fitness space better. So why the hell not? Let's do it. You know,
Hmm.
let's carve out our own piece of pie.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
ultimate American dream. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So how cool was it for you guys to get Andrew Nisler? Like, did you guys even like think you were gonna get like that caliber of athlete coming in like right off the bat?
I I told Greg when I first met Tony. I had coffee with him. He was like, and again, I didn't know Tony from Adam. I had no idea who he was. And then he kind of just introduced himself, and like I was like, hey, well, tell me about yourself. And he gave me his background. I was like, hold on, wait, you're you're a games athlete, like the games, not like regionals or anything, like the games. And he was like, yeah, no, I was games athlete 2 years in a row. I was like, Jesus. And then and then he told me, he tells me he used to coach Andrea Nisler, and I'm like, oh, I know that name. And he's like, yeah, and I think actually she would be like a perfect fit for the company. This is before he was even a partner. And so he sits down, he puts us in a text chain together, and we start talking. And before you know it, she's signing a contract with us, and I'm just like, dude, is this really happening right now? And I even told her, like, we had her out, we did a photo shoot, her and her husband Bob, and it was a great weekend. We actually just like planned a pretty cool weekend together. And man, I even told her when I picked her up from the airport, I'm just like, forgive me if I'm like a little nervous or awkward. This is like not me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm kind of like in awe right now of who I'm in the presence of. And she gave me a half smile at the time. She gave me a full smile at the end of the weekend. But she's great. I mean, she's absolutely awesome. she's the face of the brand by far. Amazing everything, like all of her accolades, what she was able to accomplish in her CrossFit career. We'll see if it continues. I mean, she's going to be a mom here soon, so like, good for her. We're super pumped and proud for her, and you know, paved the way for Colton to come in and carve his space and inside of Hero Nation now, and we'll see what Colton can do this year in the games. We're pumped for him, man. I mean, anybody who can bring on that grit, grind, and the determination of the muscle hamster from Iowa, let's go,
Yeah.
let's go. Guy Colton's.
So
Yeah.
how did that come about? Like, you know, obviously Colton's kind of like a low key, kind of quiet, like, you know, nose to the, you know,
Yep.
just nose
Absolutely.
down and just go to work. So how did you guys get connected, and how did you guys make the deal happen?
So our buddy Ken Clark does a podcast as well. It's not all black and white. That was our first podcast, Greg, that we were on together.
I heard that one too.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, that was a fun one. And so Ken, you know, Ken's kept in touch. He's been a great outlet, provider of content, media. It just goes out of his way to help the company out, which has absolutely been awesome of him. And he started up his own agency as well, and you know, like, kind of reached out of the blue one day, and he's like, and oh, by the way, I have this agency, and I got a couple of athletes I think would be great for your brand. And he says Colton Mertens. I go, shut up, you don't have Colton Mertens. There's no way. And he goes, oh, we'll get him in a text, in a text feed, and before you know it, we're chatting up, you know, contract negotiations and everything. I was just like, and it was great too. Like, I'll bring Greg into this, and he can expound on it. But so I was like, Greg, I got our next athlete. Like, this is it. And he's like, all right, pitch it, and. And I, you know, I started talking about Colton and all the things, and he was just, you know, I think I said grind. I said pig farmer from Iowa, determination, 25, 4 CrossFit Games appearances. And he's like, sign him. He sounds awesome. Let's do it.
That's awesome.
You sold me.
Yeah. So Greg, what was your experience with Colton?
Oh, it's great, man. We're pumped. So, you know, it's funny. My brother-in-law is a Hawkeye. He's an Iowa Hawkeye. So I think he was more excited than any of us, because right away when we signed him, we put it on our Instagram, we made an announcement, and he like called me up like 5 minutes later, saying, "Dude, you got Colton." So how did you get Colton? And we like went through a whole thing. So he already told me. I showed him some of the preliminary designs of the Colton bar that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. Yeah. We're pumped on that thing. That thing's the unbroken bar, as we're calling it.
Nice.
I think that thing's going to be pretty sick. So he told me he's first in line. He's going to get wants the first bar off the
very
manufacturing
nice.
press. Yeah.
Very cool.
Very nice.
So did you guys notice like the big following that Colton has through like the Savon podcast, like Vindicate, and like all those guys? We were like,
yep.
After you signed him, did you realize like he had that kind of backing as well?
Oh yeah, no, and I still, dude, I would love to. It's a very selfish pitch right now, Thomas, but I love Savad's podcast, man. Like, it is so good. It really is. He tells it like it is.
Yep.
The guests are great. The episode that he did on, you know, and it's like touches politics a little bit, but whatever. But like the episode that he did on Palestine and Israel during the first kind of portion of the conflict, I was listening to that thing. And normally I like listen to podcasts in like 20 or 30-minute stints. Dude, I think that was like an hour and 47 minutes or something. And it just played in my ear straight because I didn't want to turn it off. I was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was aware of the following, right? The Swolverine, to Vindicate. Like, I was aware of the following, but I don't think I understood the gravity of it. Like, now I get it, and I was like, wow, we got something very special on our hands.
And I see Vindicate posting like Hero Barbell stuff like all the time on his stories all
Love
the
it.
time. So
Love it.
yeah, and it's funny because like I've had Travis on my podcast as well, and like I talked to him like back and forth, and so
Yep.
I guess I think Frank, you told me that you were getting Colton on before you even posted it, and so then Vindicate had something on Hero Barbell, and then like I was like, hey, Travis, like, what's going on with Hero? And he's like, oh, they're getting somebody big. And I'm like, okay, I know who it is. Okay, great. So at
Yeah.
least I know like someone else is like in the pipeline of like knowing what's going on. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Still,
I was really excited when you
still,
guys picked him up.
yeah, super, super cool. We got a chance to watch him compete in Pasadena this year, and it was just, it was inspiring. Yeah, like it really was, to see someone just go out and just ball, And I mean, you see it on TV, and you're just like, all right, got it. You're kind of isolated from it a bit, right?
Yep.
But once you see it in person, it's just like, okay, all right, that dude's a hoss. Like he's legit.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
how's like he's just like so thick. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
short and
He's
thick, and it's
almost as big as me.
Oh man. So I also heard that you've kind of you're going to collaborate with Wad Zombie. Is that still in the works or how's that going?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say yes. I'm not gonna say no. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Okay. All right.
See how that plays out.
So obviously you have Andrea and Colton. So what other, if you know, were looking for another athlete to sponsor, what are the type of people that you're looking for, and how would they fit into Hero Nation?
Greg.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I have a wish list of some athletes that I would absolutely love to sponsor. Brooke Wells, if you're out there and you're interested, give us a call. No, yeah, it's a good question, man. I think it takes the right kind of athlete. I mean, the people that they got to believe in the brand, people that we believe in. We're not go out there and pay whoever won the games last year, the most money, and it's not who we are as a company, right? Like we just don't have that situation. So the deals and the stuff that we put together with our athletes really are partnerships. We're designing stuff. These are people who are coming on board and essentially are becoming part of the company. There's a stake that's beyond just hey, I'm going to pay you a certain amount of money. You wear our stuff, post a couple things on Instagram. It's like, you believe in us, we believe in you. Like, let's do this together. Let's grow together. So it's finding athletes that kind of fit that realm. We're a little bit older. We kind of have a following in the masters division. A lot of people in that world seem to resonate really well with us. So those are the kind of athletes that we typically work with. There's a couple big name guys that we're in conversations with that have come to the table, and there's some early discussions that with somebody who started doing CrossFit 2011 or 12 or whatever it was, and then was like watched every single CrossFit game. Like, I mean, I was following every athlete. I knew every athlete. I was like, I could tell you who was, where everybody stacked up as we went through the open together. And I got to admit, I've kind of had some fanboy moments with just certain people that I've been able to like be connected with, or they know who we are now, and had some conversations. So it's been pretty exciting, man. I've had a lot of fun. I honestly, I probably don't keep as close touch to the younger athletes as I do anymore, but it's definitely those guys that were like competing like real hard and kind of the mid, 14, 15, 16, 17 range that still, have a soft spot in my heart.
Yeah, you need to learn the lingo with the younger kids. Like, you want some cool, drip? Check the ball.
Yeah, right.
No cap,
no
bro.
No cap. This is the best barbell ever. No cap. So.
My 11-year-old, by the way, freaked out a little bit when he heard me say "no cap, bro," and he was like,
"What?
Yeah, what? Yeah, how do you know what that means? You're old."
Yeah. Like my 8-year-old tells me that too. Like, he does the gritty, and so it's funny. Like he was doing the gritty, and I'm like this. what is that? And he's like, it's the
What are you
grit.
doing?
And so then I started doing it, and he's just like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like,
I can't do it. It's
because my
not
dad
cool.
does it. Yeah. Like I'm coaching his flag football game, and like they score a
Oh,
touchdown or like during practice, and I start doing the gritty, and I'm like, oh, and it, like they're like, no, you stop. Like you need to stop that. Like you're 6'5" and you're old, and you're not allowed to do that. No, you can't do that.
That's right. That's right.
But like,
My wife's name's Erica, and her nickname since we've been together, I mean, like 20 years, is Rizzle. Rizzle. It's just Erica. Like a buddy gave her that name, so I'll just call her that all the time. They'll just be like, "Hey, Rizzle," like that. And like somebody like came up to us and they're like, "Do you call her that because she has a lot of Riz?" And I was like, what does that mean? And I've learned what Riz means by now, but that's a whole different world. I mean, it wasn't even a word like back in those days.
yeah,
But,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
sure. Yeah.
yeah, I really don't care for the lingo, and I'm like, whatever, I'll just learn it from my
No.
son. I mean, he's grown up and like learning it, and so it's like whatever. But you guys did talk about like the older generation that you kind of connected with. Now I know you guys sponsored a masters competition earlier this year. So how did you guys get involved with that, and like what was the feedback like after the games of like that, after that competition, of how Hero Barbell worked with the competition?
Yeah, that was our second year with MFC. And Eamon Coyne got us involved, really heavily involved in MSC for quite some time. Stepped away this past year, and then we've been working with Jamie Free this season, and we've had an absolute blast working with those guys. They have been they've been over backwards for us. They've helped us out to where when it comes to like barbell storage, when it comes to holding our kind of stuff that we shipped out for the booth for the actual competition, to just they have absolutely taken care of us. We're very happy with the partnership that we've had, and we're going into year 3 of 3 right now with them as the official barbell with MFC. But we're hoping that continues, because it's been absolutely awesome. And just like Greg said, now we get to meet like some of the masters athletes that we were like, kind of, it's
Yep.
just it's super cool to get to the comps and watch those dudes still sling weight. Like Gus Vandervoort was he's literally our oldest masters athlete on Team Hero, and I think the dude survived like 2 heart bypasses and all the things to a 2021 4th place finish in his age division. It's just like some
Jeez.
of the stories are just, and we were chatting, like I saw him, I actually got to meet him at Monster Games this year, and just to hear some of the stories that he's, like, oh my gosh, man, like you've obviously been there and done that, but that, I think that's the cool part. That's the cool part, is to actually get to the comps and actually hear the feedback from the athletes. Like, dude, we love your bars. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of the competition. Like, that's the why, right? So
Yeah. So
yeah.
logistically, like how many barbells do you need to bring to those
So
competitions?
they own them.
Oh, okay.
They have 50 of them. They got 25 men's and 25 women's, but it's all the other stuff, right? Like, it's all the stuff for our booth. So it's the barbells that we want to ship out to our booth. It's all of the other, it's the apparel, it's the bags, it's the collars. What else do we ship out there, Greg? I can't remember, like tape,
Belts,
just
shirts.
set up,
Belts, yeah.
set up belts, set up tear down, all of that stuff. They just yeah, they've bent over backwards to help us out, just because we're, you know, not anywhere near Fort Wayne, Indiana. So,
Yeah, yeah. So
uh,
obviously you said you really have like shirts and weight belts and stuff like that. So what
yeah.
kind of veered you off into a weight belt? Obviously collars is probably the next step towards having a barbell, but what made you get into like the weight belt space?
So we wanted to. I'll let Greg. I'll touch on this briefly. I'll let Greg talk about this because he's a product development design guy. But like, we wanted to try and focus every product like to have some sort of relationship with the barbell. Right? We're a barbell company, or we're not. That's where we want our niche to lie. But we want the additional SKUs that we put into inventory. We want to have some sort of relationship with barbell. Greg.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it. Yeah, I was talking about this the other day. You know, we're not a kind of company that's just looking to throw a product out there and just slap a Hero Barbell logo
Yeah.
on it, right? Like it's just like, could we sell kettlebells? Like, could we sell boxes? Like we could. Like you could we could build boxes and throw a Hero on it. But it's like that wasn't ever who we were about. We always wanted to create product that were differentiated, that were different, that we felt like, you know, captured something that was a little bit like us, like our barbells, like they kind
Yeah.
of stand out. You know,
Mhm.
there's some TLC that was into those things.
Yeah.
So, you know, we really try to take our time with the different products that we put out to market. You know, the belts are probably the one thing I'm not, you know, I don't absolutely love the belts we designed. We've been toying around with updating those and having, you know, I think just a little bit more of a differentiated design with the belts. But you know, we're doing plates now, and
Which looked absolutely dope, by the way.
dude, our plates are gonna.
No,
I
no
love them.
cap. So
No
No
cap.
cap,
No
man.
cap,
No
bro.
cap. Yeah. You know, we had all of our prototypes built, manufactured. There, we all have them. They're in testing right now. We put them in the hands of a bunch of different athletes that are testing them right now. We'll probably go into mass production here. You know, hopefully the beginning of 2024, they'll be available to the public. But I'm so stoked on the plates, man. They're cool. I think we're going to come to a market with a price point that is similar to what we've been able to do with our Hero bars, where, you know, you're going to be able to make a decision of getting like, you know, a pretty standard rubber bumper plate, or you're gonna be able to get like some badass comp plates, and we're probably going to be at a cost competitive kind of perspective. So those are the kind of things that from a product perspective I think about, is like, how do we come to market with something that everybody's going to look at and be like, dude, I want those. And then,
mhm.
you know, value's always been a big part of our brand. Like, it would be lying to say it wasn't. You know, I mean, we came out with a $300 barbell that, you know, from a spec perspective, competes against barbells that are being sold for $500, $600 by some of the other competitors in the space. So that's, you know, from a product perspective, that's how we think about it. Frank nailed it. It's going to be around the barbell. It's going to be around lifting. It's those type of things. But there's a lot of attention and detail to how we design products that we believe kind of like set us apart from the competition.
Got it. I have one suggestion.
Yeah.
Please.
Have you ever thought about a barbell lock?
No.
No, it's a great idea.
Nope.
Because I would love to bring this to the gym, but I don't want anybody to use it. So if I have a barbell lock, no one will ever use it
Oh
except
my
for me.
god.
That's a great
Oh
idea,
my
dude.
god. We call it the T1D or no, we gotta get some sort of type 1 lifting collab going there.
Well,
The,
I did send you some
the
pictures
lift,
for a weight belt.
the lockout lift off lock. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the weight belt pictures are they're they're hella dope. I shared those with Greg. So we're still kind of we're we're still kind of toying with the belt space, and yeah,
Two Food's done a really good job with the belt
Yes.
space.
Hmm.
So we're
it's tough.
we're
It's tough to. I mean, it's like they, you know, I mean, if you want to like just all out hero rep hero, like I got it. You know, get yourself a hero belt, but yeah, it's like, dude, they yeah, hats off to
yeah,
Dude.
shout out to those
It's
guys.
a
They've done a good
yeah,
job.
it's a legit belt.
Yeah. So so the one that I use is right now, you know, when I get my hero barbell sooner or later, is the Bear Complex. one, the Velcro belt. So there's the belt
Oh yeah.
Velcro all around it. And the cool thing I like about it is it has like the Velcro latch, of course, on here, but like on inside of the two, you know, when they go over each other, there's a Velcro piece in the middle, which
Yeah.
you get extra support. So the only one problem is for me, I got a size up and it was actually too big for me. So the what do you call it? The Velcro just split up. But if I downsized, you know, and the Velcro actually was
Too
like
much.
a huge help for that if when I
Yeah.
downsized. So I mean, I like that. I feels more secure like that. Like I don't like the belts that are like, you know, they stop, you know, that they're like super tight on the ends and like they have the Velcro, but then when you take the Velcro off, they're still like locked in. You know,
Yeah.
they're okay, but I like the one where it's just like that one bend over to come back and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So especially for being a CrossFit, well, you know, doing CrossFit or weightlifting, it's just like easy rip, easy.
On, yeah,
That's right.
on off.
It's key.
On
You
off.
need it.
On off.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
right there with you.
yeah. So are you guys looking to go to any other competitions like Wadapalooza or anything else to, you know, rep the brand a little bit, or is it just kind of like just stick to the grounds?
Dude, I would love to be at Wadapalooza. I really would. I think Greg would too. Give us a chance to go to Miami. There's really no excuse that we really need to go to Miami. But I mean, it's like it's it's tough though. Like as a self-funded startup company, it's like as much as I would love to be selfish and throw money at a travel trip to go down to Miami in January, it's that those are funds that were taken away from another order,
Yep.
at the end of the day, right? So Mike, affectionately known as the wet blanket, our CFO of the group, he deals with all the finances and he keeps Greg and I grounded. He's absolutely awesome. Greg's funny. Greg, I love this quote. It's like every time I get like frustrated or something, it's like, Mike won't let us do this or Mike won't let us do that. And Greg's like, dude, if it wasn't for Mike, we would have bankrupted the company like a year and a half ago. I was like, all right, yeah. I was like, fair point. Mike's awesome. But like, oh man, I'm telling you, I would love to get out and do more of that. I really would, because that's, like I said before, that's where I find joy. It's just that's our trouble right now is where do we focus and allocate money? But for anybody interested, accredited investors, right, Greg? We're doing a Series A right now, and we are looking for that capital, not to just send people to competitions, obviously, but like to no kidding, invest in product sustainment, product development, so we could bring in that revenue to potentially branch out and do more things and get seen more in the space. So
Yeah. Awesome.
That's my best answer on the question.
Yeah. I mean, you're better off not going anyway to save money for R&D stuff or whatever. So, I mean, like
dude.
I mean, granted, like, yeah, like you said earlier, like Miami would be amazing in January. Except like, especially like, freezing your keister off up north. It's like you have a chance to go there for like a weekend and hang out.
Yep. And it's rainy season in January in San Diego too. It's like, it's always a good excuse to get out of town.
Yeah, true. But I don't want to beat the rogue thing with a dead horse, but I know you had your whole like Instagram like cut off and social media cut off, but since you've got it reinstated back, well, actually a new page back.
Yeah. Never actually been reinstated back, believe it or not.
But you actually have more followers than you did before you got cut off. So
we do.
What has been like obviously probably like promoting and like ads as well as like, people you're sponsoring are a huge help, but like what have you seen that's been a huge help growing the brands on social media?
I have to take a moment to just give a shout out to our ambassadors, because without without our ambassadors, I mean, our athletes are great, obviously, and we've already talked about them a ton, and I will continue to talk about them until I'm blue in the face. But our ambassadors are kind of the lifeblood of the brand. They really are. And you never know how far their reach goes, right? I mean, it's like, it's super cool. I went up, I went to Buddy's retirement ceremony up in Anacortes, Washington, a year and a half ago. I got to meet Chelsea Nichols, and, you know, to watch her story, and to share her pain, because I tore my Achilles earlier this year too, and to see her do that in the games. Oh man, you know, my heart just went out to her. But we kind of bonded over our you know, kind of injuries together, and but it was super cool, dude. I got to go up. I met her. I did a CrossFit Open workout with her, and Derek, another one of our ambassadors, at a CrossFit Everett, or CrossFit Advantage, and it's just like, it's stuff like that where, you know, you have awesome athletes like Leah Irons and Natalie Thompson, and James Free and Meg Richards, and you could just go on and naming all of these ambassadors that just carry the water, when it comes to just brand awareness. And you really don't know how much their reach goes, but to see them constantly just posting reels and stories and tagging Hero, I mean, it was super cool. And especially, Thomas, when our old account, our original account, got shut down, to see how quickly, once we finally made the decision to start a new page, how quickly everybody got back on board. Dude, I was dejected. I watched that account go from 5,000, or from 5 to 5,000. And that was like a point of pride, you know, me not being a
Oh, of
social
course. Yeah.
genius guy, right? Like, I mean, we don't have a social company running our social media page. It's me. And to just see that thing like get shut down, that one hurt. Matter of fact, Greg kind of put his arm around me a couple of times. He's like, "Hey man, I know you're in a bad place right now, but we need to we need to get that social thing." I was like,
Yeah.
"That's too soon. It's too soon."
Time to get back up. Well, I mean, look, and we talked to somebody the other day about this, and you know, I think the social media piece hurt because that was our outlet. But I mean, you know, as part of that, there were some real business implications that occurred during that process that, as a company, we had to deal with. Without retracing the entire story, there's a lot out there publicly now. You know, I don't need to poke that bear, but you know, we received a cease and desist on, you know, the core design of our product, and, you know, demands to essentially, like, you know, we have to redesign it, and we did, because that wasn't a fight that we were in a position to have to take on. So, you know, you're talking about stopping selling bars. You're talking about going back. We had, you know, a large number of bars that had already been manufactured that were getting ready to be sold, that we had to go back and retrofit. So there's a period of time that we have to wait where we can't sell bars. We have the cost of having to replace essentially the sleeves on every one of those bars that exist. And we did it because, you know, what else are you going to do under the circumstance when, you know, a giant potentially is looking to put you out of business, or has the capability to put you out of business. And, you know, I felt like as a company, and we all felt like as a company, that we had to tell our side of that story.
Of course. Yeah.
Like, and do it honestly, and not try to besmirch anybody or you know, to badmouth, but just give the facts. This is the facts of what happened. We don't understand why this is occurring this way. We don't necessarily agree with it, but we have no choice but to basically follow along, because unfortunately money is money, and we don't have as much as they do. And I think there's part of it that people resonated with it. You know, like you said it, everybody loves an underdog story. So, you know, I think that a lot of people jump back on that, and I think that helped us with a little bit with social media, and you know, in a way, it gave us the opportunity to have conversations like this with people like you. You know, it gave us a little bit of it created a little bit more interest in the brand and the story and who we were, and people were interested in hearing about the journey and the things that we did. And I think there were a lot of people out there that kind of like put themselves in our situation, like 3 buddies during COVID hanging out in a jacuzzi, drinking cocktails. We have a business idea to start a product because we love a particular type of thing. We're like you, we're just athletes, we're fitness guys, we love working out. And we're like, dude, let's start this thing. And then we built this brand and we built this company, sort of the image of ourselves. We had this whole like joking kind of suburban legend thing, you know, the mid 40 guy that still thinks that they can compete and work out.
Guilty.
And you get this
guilty.
thing off the
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
And,
Guilty is charged.
and we get this thing off the ground. And one day we look at each other and we're like, holy shit, people actually like this. Like, this is working. Like, we're like, people are, you know, like people are posting our shit, people are buying our stuff. Like, we built this company. And then one day, without even knowing it, you just get punched in the nose by the literal giant in the space. And, you know, that's what they do. Like, I get it. I don't fault them. That's what big companies do. They have law firms, they have IP, they protect their IP. They were doing what they needed to get done. But as a small company, you don't think that way. You just think like, dude, this thing that we put so much time and so much work in and our own money and our blood and sweat and tears could go away because of the situation. And we felt like we had to tell that story. And I'm glad people have resonated with it. And I think people can put themselves in our situation. And I think in a lot of ways, it's created a lot of goodwill for us.
Awesome. Yeah, completely agree. So, I mean, I love you guys' story, and, you know, obviously, you know, talking to Frank, you know, has been awesome too as well. So, I know we're getting close to the end, but one of the questions I have is, do you have like any new products that you're looking to come out soon that like
besides the barbell lock?
Yeah. Besides the barbell lock, like, is there anything that's like literally coming around at like early, like June or February of not June, January, February of 2024?
The plates is going to be the next big
Yeah.
product that's coming down. We are in R&D on some different belt designs, and, you know, I think kind of like our 2.0 version of our belts. Couple interesting bars. I'm really excited actually about the unbroken bar we're doing with Mertens and how that's going to come out. You know, and I think there's a couple other athletes that we may do some work with, but no. So if you got any ideas and any products, or, you know, I like your belt idea of things that we could do some joint R&D, or if anybody out there has some ideas, let us know.
Yeah, there you go. Colton's bar is going to be first quarter of 2024.
Mhm.
Thomas said, you know, and then sky's the limit, right? Like, it depends on how this series goes as far as investors are concerned. Obviously, the more interest that we have, the more we can put to R&D and push to market. So, I mean, you know, like cross fingers, right? Because hope's not a course of action, but crossing our fingers is damn sure one of them. That we would love to have some new products by the end of next year. I would call that a win. I really would. That, like, if, you know, see success, or what success looks like for 2024. Unbroken bar release first quarter. The comp plate is released to the general public at some point, and potentially a new product there prior to Christmas. I would call that success.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I have some rapid fire questions for you guys. They're not really
Oh,
rapid.
yes.
They're not really rapid fire. You can take your time on them. Don't worry. So, obviously, I know you have the unbroken bar. You kind of talked about it earlier, like the broken bar, the plates, you know, weight belt 2.0. But do you have any goals, like personal or, you know, business wise, that you wanted to hit by the end of you know, 2024, since it's almost 2024?
By the end of 20, so the end of 23 or the end of 24?
End of next year, not 23, because you literally have like 2 weeks. So it's really, so you really, I don't know if you're gonna get much out of it, but end of 2024.
Triple revenue. I'm rapid fire. I'm just going.
Greg, what do you got?
Yeah. I'll go outside of CrossFit. I need to. I was looking at some pictures the other day of me pre-COVID when I was doing CrossFit, and I
need to
looked at
lose some
myself
weight
lately, and I'm like, I could get back into some CrossFit shape.
Yes, dude, he's back. Oh, Thomas, I have tried all year to get this guy back. So he was on a big cardio kick. I would jokingly said need to lose some weight. The guy's 6'4". He's skinnier than I am. I'm 5'11". So that'll tell you something.
Yeah, us tall guys got to unite, but definitely,
That's right.
definitely do a little more weightlifting. So,
That's right.
all right, next question. So,
Yep.
what is your favorite book?
Oh.
Ooh. What's your favorite book?
Well, we'll go Greg go first because you were last.
Oh man, that's tough. I have a lot of favorite books. I'm gonna say, I read a book called Shantaram a number of years ago. It was a recommendation from a good friend of mine. It's a true
Is that
story.
the Indian?
Yeah, they just recently
Yeah.
did a thing on Apple TV on it.
Yeah.
But I read that book like 10 or 15 years ago, and it was a great read. It was really interesting. I had spent a lot of time in India for working reasons. I was tech and software and that whole thing. So it was really cool to kind of read a book, the story of what it was like, during that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Yeah, I've never heard of that book before.
Well, check out the Apple TV series. It's actually I've watched like a couple
It was
episodes,
okay.
like two or three. I didn't
Yeah.
finish it. But I mean, it held my interest at least. I just kind of
Yeah.
got busy in life and shit. Young Frank's favorite book, All Quiet on the Western Front, Eric Marie Lamarck, and old Frank's favorite book, Fighter Pilot, Robin Olds, by far, hands
I read
down.
that too. Yeah.
Who I just emulate myself off of. Yeah, amazing man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. What is something that you like to do that no one, neither Frank or Greg, have no idea about?
Something I do that Frank doesn't know about.
Yes, or like anybody else, like in the space, like, or anybody else that you know.
Oh man, Frank, you got to go first on this one.
Okay, I'll go first. Something new. I have video games on my phone that I play while on layover, and my wife just absolutely hates it because it drives her nuts. So I don't think Greg knows that.
I didn't. But let's stay on the video game kick. I just finished the latest Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, you son of a
game, and I've probably put an embarrassing amount of hours into that game that I'm gonna choose not to admit. But my wife will walk in on me and she just looks at me, and her joke is she's like, "That is so not hot." Grown man playing a video game. He just walks out of the room.
Yeah.
So originally, like, I was a big into video games too. Like, I was at one point where when I moved down to Georgia, I was playing. It was Fallout New Vegas on Xbox.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
Great game.
Great game.
Actually, I don't know
Love
if I finished.
that game.
It was like it was either that or like one of the Fallout games. And so I saved it because I had to leave or do something. And then I look at the time on it and I'm like, 44 hours on that thing. And I'm like, that is not good. And so like that was the moment I'm like, okay, I got to get rid of this thing. Like, I got to sell it. Like, it's I can't do anymore. Like, I need to do something else that's more productive than playing video games. And now my son for Christmas is getting a PS5, and I looked and like the new Fallout television show is coming out in April, and I'm like,
I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, it's on Prime. It's on Prime Video. So,
Sweet.
and
awesome.
And I'm like, oh, sick. And I'm like, I wonder if PS5 has a Fallout game, and they have Fallout 4. And I'm like, I haven't played that yet because I know it's a Massachusetts-based video game. And so I'm like, God, like I can't buy this. Or like Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, I can't buy it. I can't do it.
Dude, Fallout 4 is so good. It really was good.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Grand Theft Auto?
Yes.
I'm not.
Insane,
bro. Insane.
Do you know that one of the characters, like the guy that has tattoos all over his face and he's at the courthouse, the guy I think they copied off of is suing Rockstar for $3 million for using his likeness into the video game.
Sure, why not?
I mean,
Yeah,
it
why
literally
not?
looks like him. He's got
Looks just like him.
the guy in the video game has like purple hair, but he has like almost the same exact tattoos as the other guy. So
Wow.
yeah, it's interesting.
That'll
Okay,
hold up.
next question. What is in your gym bag?
Oh man. Shoes. I have right now. I have my headset for when I fly. Wrist straps, knee braces or knee sleeves. My left elbow sleeve, Evo free, and stick of gum.
I love it. Stick a gum. For me, yeah, I mean, probably pretty standard. Ollie shoes, weight belt, knee sleeves, jump rope, wrist straps, and I don't know, those little thummy things. The little, I don't remember
Oh,
what
you don't
those are
tape?
called.
You don't use
Nubs,
tape?
nubs. I'm a
Yeah,
nubber.
Oh,
I'm a
nubs.
nub guy. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. So next question. So just pretend this is the last day on earth for you guys. You know, you're lying in your bed, you have all your friends, you know, around you. How do you want people to know you as?
Oh man, that's a deep question.
Dude.
Greg has to go
Man,
first because I think you were the last one.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. I want to come up with something funny, but I'll make it a little bit more serious. I've thought about this, right? I think one of the first business books I ever read was Seven Habits of Highly Successful People, and I think
Mm,
habit one is start with the end in mind. And the whole premise was like, imagine you're essentially sitting at the end of your life, and you're surrounded by friends and people around you, and it's like, what do you want people to think about you? Like, how
Yeah.
do you want to be remembered? What's your legacy? Those types of things. And it's really stuck with me. And I think I've lived my life very much with always keeping that in the back of my mind. You know what, man? I just want to be like, family's really important to me. I want to be somebody that, like, my friends and my family just said that was a good dude. That was just a
yep.
good guy. He was just here for me. He was just a good friend. He was a good person. We had some fun along the way, and he's just lived a good life.
Awesome. That's awesome. I like that one. All right, Frank, you're up.
Loving father, uh, successful, or correction, loving father, loving husband, and a team builder. I bring people together. That's what I do. They call me the cruise director because I always just like, to get people together, throw great parties, because I enjoy seeing other people happy. That's just, that's me. Like Greg used seven habits. Like my wife and I did, um, we deployment in 2009. We read the five love languages, right? And I always made fun of her. I was like, your love language is receiving gifts, physical in nature, and like, but honestly, mine is words of affirmation. It really is. As much as I try and convince her, it's physical touch. Like words of affirmation. I want to I want to hear that I've done well in life, and I want to see everybody do well around me in life. And if that's what's being kind of whispered at the end of my deathbed, I've done it right.
Awesome. Awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. All right. So last question. So where can people reach out to you if they have any questions about Hero Barbell?
Oh, totally. So our website's herobarbell.com. Please follow us on Instagram at free hero barbell now, free hero barbell. And then what else? We have a TikTok account with a whopping 48 followers, but at hero barbell co for TikTok. If you want to make it 49 and 50, like why not? Maybe there might be something in store for the 50th follower on TikTok.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. It was
Yeah,
awesome just
man.
to learn about, you guys and the company and, what's going to happen in the future. And, I do appreciate you taking the time to, shoot the shit pretty much.
Yeah, man.
That
It
was
was
awesome,
fun.
Thomas. Thank
Enjoyed
you
it.
for having us, dude. Seriously, that was great.
Awesome.